Let's bring in the independent member for Goldstein now, Zoe Daniel, to talk about a few of the issues around today. Let's start with the call for an increase in JobSeeker. You're a signatory to that letter. Is there any concern you might have in terms of the inflationary impact of such a move, Zoe Daniel?
Look, I think we do need to be cautious, Kieran, and plainly the government is being cautious, and I think that that's appropriate. But also, we have many Australians who are really struggling to live right now. And I think what we need to be looking at is what the economic benefit is of raising the rate. The sort of institutionalised poverty that we're creating with such low unemployment benefits creates a situation where people are locked into that situation. It perpetuates mental health issues and creates a situation where people, for example, couldn't afford to get a haircut or buy a shirt or get transport even to go out to a job interview. So what is being suggested by ACOS and the others that have signed that letter is that the rate needs to be increased slightly to enable those people to fully participate in the economy. And by doing that, you have more people who are job ready and more people who can go out to work.
What's your sense? Obviously, as a member of parliament, you have better and more contact with members of the government than some of those other advocates who have signed the letter today calling for an increase. Do you think the government will budge in the budget?
Off the top, I'd say no, because I think the government has been quite clear about where it sits on this. And I think the government is very conscious, obviously, of being seen to be a responsible economic manager. I would say, though, that the Treasurer has acknowledged that the people who are calling for this are doing it in a measured way. And I would encourage the government to consider what kind of a society we want to be. What kind of Australia do we want to be? Do we want to have this enormous growing wealth gap where people are forced into insecure housing and homelessness and into a situation where they can't even put themselves into a position to get work? Or do we want to support them into that? And as I've said previously to you, Kieran, and to others, you know, if it's a revenue issue and a cost issue, we need to talk about restructuring our tax system to raise the revenue that we need to support our society.